Sunday night, live from Jeffersons, time for the JAG Connection, the Tim Vakakis show. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Doing good, man. We've got a good crowd out here tonight. It's good to see some young faces.
Good win on Friday night. I want to tell you, though, just from a personal standpoint, great week for GameDay Sports Radio last week. I got to cover the future, got to see the present, and got to see a little bit of the past. We had the JV and freshman game on Monday night, saw a lot of talent coming up. The JAG's future is very bright. And then we had an opportunity to call 7th and 8th grade games, both of them victorious over Mountain Brook. And again, it was kind of cool not only to see the kids, the way they're playing, the size, the talent, but also a lot of siblings coming up through the program. Ty, the Price is Right, younger brother of Barrett Price, coming up, had a nice game. But then I got the opportunity this weekend to see Spain Park alum Evan Bishop snapping down for UAB down at Florida Atlantic. Got to see him in person. In fact, he got me a ticket and, got me thinking, kind of did a little mental note of how many people we actually have playing at the next level. So it's kind of fun to see that football for a lot of these kids, even if they're still not playing, some of the lessons they've learned are still with them in college. And so it was kind of exciting to see the present, the future, and the past.
That is pretty cool. I think we did a little video at the beginning of the season. I want to say we have like 13 guys right now playing college football right now from Spain Park the last few years. So a lot of our guys are doing some really good stuff out there, and we definitely have a lot of talent coming up. We just got to love on them and keep developing it.
Yeah, so interesting game Friday night. Probably not the way you want to start.
No, I mean, we talked about it all week about how Chelsea's going to be very emotional. It's a big game, and they've had our game circled on the calendar for 365 days, and so it was going to be emotional. And we talk all the time about you can't go through life emotional. You can't play a game emotional. You just can't run a household emotional. You can't work off emotions because emotions go up and they go down, and you got to be constant. So, I told them, it's going to be very emotional. They're going to be getting after you, but after about 6 or 7 minutes. Now you got to settle in, and now you got to just start swinging. And now it's who's the heavyweight, and that's kind of what happened Friday night. And our kids, I'll say this, they had 4 personal fouls in the first quarter. And I think they had 7 or 8 personal foul penalties throughout the game. And there was 3 or 4 they should have had called. They didn't have called. They weren't called. But I told our kids today, I love winning. I hate losing. But the thing I am most proud about Friday night was through all of the 15-yard penalties and all of the chippy stuff after the play, our kids did not retaliate one time. So every time they got a 15-yarder, we got the 15-yard penalty because we didn't retaliate. Because you know how it is. You see somebody hit somebody and he hits them back and they're offsetting penalties. And not one time were they offsetting because our kids did not allow that to get them off their game. And I couldn't always say that here. There was a couple years ago we were embarrassed about how our kids were playing on a Friday night. So really proud of the kids and the coaches that everybody held their cool, and we just kept swinging. But I was very proud that our kids did not retaliate when somebody hit them late.
Yeah, it was an important game, too. That was a seed game. The winner of that game, more than likely, you still got one more for sure you got to win to get that home field playoff game. But, both of you were playing for a home field playoff game in that game, so it was a very important game.
Sure it was. And we knew they were going to come out juiced up, and Coach Cassidy is a good friend of mine, and he did a good job of getting the kids ready, and they came out fired up and ready to go. So, but I'm proud of the kids how they handled themselves.
Let's hit the defense a little bit. For all intents and purposes, they pitched a shutout. The one lone score came on a special teams play. Had 2 interceptions, but other than that, it was a very academic night for them, and I mean that respectfully. They stopped him short, several 3s and outs. They never really gave Chelsea an opportunity to get anything going offensively.
Yeah, so they played 45 snaps, but 39 snaps from scrimmage that didn't have a penalty in it. And of those 39 plays, our defense held their offense to 4 yards or less, 22 out of 39 plays. And that's really good football. That's not giving up a lot of big plays. There were a couple of chunk plays late, but our defense did a really good job. And we left another clue. They had a long run late, and Tristan Hill came from the other side of the field and ran the kid down and tackled him. And our defense ended up having a 4th down goal line stop. And that doesn't happen without Tristan Hill busting his butt across the field. So just, we tell these kids all the time, leadership and culture leaves clues. And sometimes those clues you don't read about in the paper, you're not going to see it on TV, but it matters. And that's a clue right there that I made sure the kids heard about today, and we talked about it it was very important because if Tristan doesn't chase the kid down from the other side of the field, they score. And it meant enough to him to run the kid down, get him down, and our defense ended up getting off the field.
And if I remember correctly, that play was later in the game.
It was very late.
When you guys were already up, it's a really nothing touchdown, even if
Correct.
they do score.
Correct.
So there's a lot of pride in that play.
100%. And that's, again, we tell them all the time, leadership leaves clues. And if you're a champion and you have championship routines and daily things that you do, it leaves clues behind. And that's a clue that I wanted to make sure our kids heard.
Hey, folks, we are having some internet issues here tonight. If you're watching at home, don't worry. We will reload the broadcast just in case it is jumping a little bit on you at home. So internet's been good here the last couple of weeks, and I don't know what it is, but we will post a recording later just in case. I want to thank everybody who's here live. We got a full house tonight, lots of middle schoolers who are here tonight. So they were loud until their food got here. Now they're all eating. We will have a little segment later in the show. Ask the coach. I brought the microphone, so you're gonna get put on the hot spot tonight again, Coach. And there's rumor your dad might even ask a question.
I don't know. You need a bleep button. I hope this thing ain't live if you're going to put him on the mic.
That's why it may be good we're having internet issues. So
it's very good.
do you just inform me of something it's quite remarkable when you came in tonight? You want to tell the folks, for those maybe I'm the only one who doesn't know because it's out of town, but Brock Bradley broke the record for the winningest all-time quarterback in Spain Park history. Is that correct?
That's correct. So, I mean, obviously there's been some really good quarterbacks. Nick Mullins is still in the league. He's in the NFL right now. And Bennett Meredith threw for 3,000 yards one year. Neil Calder won a lot of games. So there's been a lot of great quarterbacks come through this school. But, the fact that Brock has started for 3 years, and these 3 years have looked how they look. He was able to pass Cody Wells early in Spain Park history, had a lot of wins. But, Brock, I think he passed him a couple weeks ago, but we just realized it. And I didn't want another week to go by without us acknowledging that. And I met with him today, and that's big. It's not, I had a meeting with him in Nash, because Nash is kind of the next guy that's going to do some great things here. And I kind of told him, I said, like, in all those 24 wins, each of those wins has a story. There were some games that Brock threw for 300-something plus yards, but there were other games. Last year, James Clements, he threw for 80-something in the driving, pouring rain. But winning quarterbacks, or quarterbacks, when you're judged on the results, Brock was able to lead his team to victory. And that, a lot of times, that doesn't go unnoticed with me. As quarterbacks, your job is to win games. And as coaches, our jobs are to win. And, all of those wins he had, they have their own little story. And but he was able to navigate each one of those, and hopefully we're not done. But, winning games with Brock Bradley has been a lot of fun to see where it's been and where we are and hopefully where we go. But I met with Brock when he was in 8th grade. The first time I ever met him, he came down and sat in my office as an 8th grader. He got done practicing basketball at Berry. It was a December break. So I come down there and sit down in my office, and he shows up, and he pulls out a notebook, sheet of paper with questions for me. So I'm like, I've never been interviewed by a kid, but much less an 8th grader that I've never met. So he's sitting there asking me my questions about what my vision is and how we can do this, whatever. And but at the end of the conversation, he said, Coach, I want to help you change this place. So he's obviously done that. And so there's no other guy that you'd rather be behind center with than Brock Bradley. And he's a very unselfish person, and he was able to lead this school to the most wins in under one quarterback's leadership. So we're proud of him, we love him, but hopefully we're not done yet.
Most people don't know this, but I texted with him a couple years ago after we played Thompson at home, and he got beat up pretty good that game. And he said, take your shots now, because it ain't going to be like this for long.
Correct.
And we're going to be a different team. And little did people know that we were going to be a different team later that season. We turned it in that trustful game. We had to look back since, and he's been a large part of that.
Oh, there's no doubt. He's such a good leader, good person. But I think I told him a day when we met, I said, the biggest thing is what you leave behind. The program that he walked into along with his other senior classmates, what they walked into and what they're leaving are two different products, and the biggest thing is that Nash is right there with him and watching him and learning. And, when it's time, Brock's going to hand the keys over to Nash, and it's going to be his chance, So, but Brock's doing such a good job of leading everybody around him, and he's a pleasure to coach.
Yeah, we had a couple of highlights this week from the Nash Davis Brody Smith show on Monday night, and got like 900 views on a little YouTube short. But most coaches don't have the luxury of seeing that kind of talent come up behind.
I mean, Nash is a special talent, you know, and again, just being with Brock is just, and he understands the value there of just being by somebody that has done it, that's kind of doing it the right way, so you can learn from him, and you know, it's going to be fun. You know, we got a bright future here, you know, with Nash, but like I said, we're not done with Brock yet.
Talking to Coach Bush, he helped call part of the freshman game with us on Monday night. We were talking. There's a lot of talent on both that freshman and that JV team, and I know some of that JV team are guys that come down to play, but we were joking around about him, and he said there's going to be some arguments among the coaching staff of who goes to which side of the ball.
There always is. I mean, there's always a group of guys that everybody starts arguing over, and like, where does he go? Where does he go? But you know, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what the best plan of action is with those guys. But it's a talented group. The ninth grade group is very talented, and they get after it. They work really hard. It means a lot to them, and they work hard in the weight room. They're it's that type of group, like a brother. You know, brothers. I can say a lot of stuff about my brother, but nobody else can.
You're right.
That's kind of how that group is. Like you cross them like you're about to have to deal with 5 of them. You know, but you know, we let Coach Spencer's son Colton and Mason Palmer and Braylon Price, they had 9th grade linemen. They dressed with us this last weekend, and they were so excited about being out there. And after the game, you know, we were trying to get everybody on the buses and get home. And I look over, and they're playing basketball on Coach Bush's basketball goal. You know, they're just dunking each other, and they're loving it. But they're just loving being around the guys. And so that 9th grade group's a lot of energy, but it's going to be a lot of fun with them.
Talk a little bit more about the 9th grade group. Something else that we learned about them is that their selfless act of how they are helping this varsity team prepare. Coach Bush was telling us several of them are coming up as scout team players, not only having their workout in the morning, but coming out and helping prepare the varsity team on Friday night, because you get different people on that team that can give some of the looks that you need for Friday night preparation.
Well, we had a couple of weeks ago when Nick McKissick went down and then J.D. went down. You know, our running back room was light, so we had to bring them up to go through scout team with us, and they were excited about it, and they gave us a really good look. I mean, it's a different, you know, gear when those two guys are in, Jameer Hudson and Caden Hill. So we brought them up from the 9th grade group to kind of get us in practicing, and we said if they're going to practice with us, if they're going to be in the scout team with us, we ought to allow them to dress. So they dressed, and then we needed some of our JV linemen got hurt, so we had to pull some 9th grade linemen up to kind of get us in practice and get some practice looks with us. And so you know, 3 or 4 of them have come up. So it's a good group. They love practicing like we lifted today, and the 3 9th grade linemen were in there with us today lifting. So they love it, and we're glad they're with us.
Well, there we go. That's right. Okay. So get to some highlights now, Coach. So first off, like you mentioned, 64 plays, 45 total, 521 yards. Is that the most that you've put up on the board as a Spain Park offense?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. But it was a really good night. There were 6 different guys caught passes, and it was a really good night.
24 first downs. I mean, you definitely controlled time of possession in that game, but I think the most impressive was 8 out of 10 on 3rd downs. I mean, you kept the ball, and they could not get off the field defensively on 3rd down, and that's really a lot of times what wins and loses the ball games, 3rd downs.
It is. I mean, if you don't convert 3rd downs, you can't extend drives. But one thing our kids did on offense is they had 9-play drive. They had a 10-play drive. You know, we had longer drives, and I told the kids, like, the way we practice prepares them. A 9-play drive in real game time for our kids is nothing, because the way we practice, we stress them a lot. We put a lot on them. So a 9-play drive for us is nothing, but to a defense, it's not easy. So they were fresh, and they made a lot of good plays.
So let's get to some highlights now. We're starting here with the interception. Get that off there. Get that off there. Starting here with the interception after Chelsea goes up 7-0 here, but you get back and just a lot of good coverage down there. There was really no place for him to throw this ball, and just overthrows the receiver.
That's it. And Joe Cross is going to be in the middle, and he's really good playing the football and playing in the middle of the field, and he made a good break, and that was a big play.
So is Elizabeth feeling better now?
She's better. That's
okay.
3. Last 2 weeks, that's 3. So 2 weeks ago, he was at 0, and she couldn't understand it.
So if you pause here, I mean, there is nobody open. I mean, you guys have gotten good coverage down here. Everybody looks like you're in a little bit of a zone here. Everybody kind of sitting back, doing their jobs, reading the quarterback, and you got good spacing here. You're really giving them no real windows to get to it.
Right. It's 3rd and long, and Coach Bush and Coach Kimball in the back end, Coach Ward, they do such a good job of disguising coverages and knowing when and where, and that was 3rd and long. So they got in that coverage, and the guys in the back end, they're free to kind of roam and go to the ball.
Actually, good communication there. I noticed on that, too, because you had 2 guys in that area that could have gone for that ball, and they could have prevented each other from getting it.
Yeah, they did. But if Joe's wants the ball, you get away, let Joe have it.
Little running play here, though, right after you get the ball on the interception here. Just nice, keeps the feet moving, gets in there in the 5-yard line.
Yeah, it was good to get Nick McKissick back. That's for sure.
Got nice
the
use
first
of
play of the second quarter, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, and nice use of the fullback here. And again, just keep those dry legs moving. And I believe that was Hudson Hibbard, was it not?
Sure was. He's, I think he's leading us in rushing touchdowns for the year.
You know, but again, you got that size in there, and I mean, he gets hit about the 2 and just keeps on driving and drives the whole pile into the end zone. That's got to be a nice weapon to have, especially down at goal lines in short yardage situations.
On that play right there, Hudson Reed went to block. The guy that he was blocking just hit the deck, grabbed grass, tried to create a pile. But you see Hudson crawling over him, diving at the linebacker, trying to get to the next guy because he had a double team up. And that just goes to show, again, that's just another clue of how much our kids mean to each other.
I believe this is Nick McKissick again.
Yep.
Gets the edge around, but again, we're going to freeze frame it here in a minute, get back and show what really makes this play, and it's your guard that pulls here. Those 2 guys that pull, they get out there, and they really sealed the edge nicely for you.
They do another thing that matters. Towards the end of this run, Nick McKissick doesn't go out of bounds. You know, he puts his foot down and just puts his head down and gets north. He could have gone out of bounds. A lot of guys would, but that gave us 4 or 5 more yards.
Didn't see a lot of rust coming from him.
No, it wasn't.
Coming back after sitting for a couple weeks. It looked like he was ready and excited to go.
He gave us another gear for sure.
Again, nice little play. You got the tight end dragging across the middle here.
Yeah, that's a good little play action by Brock. You know, the guard pulled and took the linebacker with him, and Landrick did a good job of trying to stay underneath the linebackers, and then all of a sudden he saw the opening and he burst through it, and Brock made a really nice pass.
He did a nice job here splitting the linebacker and the safety. Goes behind the linebacker, so he doesn't drag with him. Safety doesn't pick him up, and he's wide open for the touchdown. Safety gets there late.
That's it.
But if he runs that underneath, he gets probably into some traffic. He's not there.
You're correct.
I watched enough of your games to know what you're trying to do sometimes.
Tough.
A nice pass here by Brock, and a great bet. Probably even a little bit better catch by the receiver. It was a little bit short.
Really good catch by Greb. He's got some really good hands, and you know you can tell he's a really good baseball player because his hand-eye coordination is just really elite.
So yeah, and again, you know, how much does that when you can go vertical like that? Does it just open that many more plays for you short underneath because they've got to defend so much deeper?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think the biggest thing is just having more guys that can do it. You know, instead of having 1 or 2 guys they have to focus on. Now we've, you know, Greb caught some passes, Landrick caught 2 touchdowns. Now you got guys all over the field that you can't really concentrate on one guy. So, you know, going vertically and horizontally with Brock, being able to make all the throws, sometimes it's fun.
All the time in the world there to get that pass, and in fact, I think it was initially supposed to be a dump off underneath, and he was covered.
It was, and Greb,
he released, and he found the open space and helped his quarterback out.
Yep, Greb kind of felt the pressure outside, couldn't get up, couldn't get past him, so he put his foot down and came back inside, and Brock just, you know, made a heck of a throw.
Look at that pocket. I mean, he's got all day. He's, you know, and then again, great vision by Greb to find the open space, help his quarterback out. Here's going to be another interception. Looks like you got another 3rd and long here.
It was right before the halftime, last play of the half.
E.J. Curley down there, usually not that deep, but.
Right. I told him back because it was the last play. They were trying to throw it to the end zone. I was just telling E.J. to go down, but once he gets moving
and you know you are going to get him down.
No, just let him go, and wherever he ends, he ends.
But again, another nice play. I mean, he's just tossing it up for grabs here. No place to go with it, and E.J. tries to make something happen with it after here. I think the only thing you're thankful for is he doesn't get hurt when he gets hit.
Just go down. Go down.
So, and then the Jags go into the half. Again, nice little toss sweep out here. Again, you got to love to have some of that speed back there from a true running back.
Yeah, Nick does a really good job in open field and open space, and his foot felt good. So we're excited about getting him back healthy.
Again, this is all set up by this wide receiver in here, hitting his block. And that's the one guy, you know, and everybody else, you get a little misdirection on there, and they're all going the other way. So if he doesn't block that guy, that play goes nowhere.
That's it. And it's one-on-one with the safety, and that's what we kind of knew was going to happen. So we just said, get out there and get what you can get and go be an athlete.
And he makes him miss and picks up another 7, 8, 9 yards.
Yep.
Again, here's Brock just being Brock.
I was about to say, this ain't how we drew it up.
Really?
Yeah, but it just shows how special he is of a talent. And then Mason McClure understanding, you know, once he starts scrambling, you have rules. If a quarterback scrambles, there are rules. If you're away from him, you come to him. If you're short, you go deep. If you're deep, you come back. And it's just him and Mason being on the same page. We do that every Wednesday. They have a scramble drill in practice where they practice, you know, wherever you are on the field. If the quarterback scrambles, you have to scramble with him. So, you know, it was a really good job by Mason. And crazy throw by Brock, but, it's one of those, what are you doing, Brock? And then you congratulate him when he gets over there with you.
Yeah, but, dude, that's the kind of the sign of a veteran quarterback there. He put that ball only where his guy could get it.
Sure.
It's either a throwaway or a touchdown.
And when he throws it, you try to see where it's landing, and it didn't look like, he let him. He threw it right where Mason could run right under it at the perfect time, and that's stuff you can't coach.
No, and that's what you want to see. Again, nice power run right up the middle here. Offensive line really dominated in the trenches. Both lines did, I would say.
They did. Coach Moore does a great job with them.
Get another one here. Brock just kind of making it happen again and finds the guy kind of blown coverage there, but lofts it up to him. Was that how it was drawn up?
It was. I mean, we did it. We ran that play earlier on the other end of the field, but Landry didn't do it right. He went behind the linebacker. The safety grabbed him, and he wasn't there. And we threw it down to Hudson Hibbert. This time he fixed it, so the ball went to him.
Big touchdown play coming up here from Brock, 54-yarder, I believe.
That's Nash.
Oh, that's Nash? I did not realize that. There you go. Well, there you go.
Yep. That made it 44, but you wanted Nash to get in and have a chance to run the real offense, and it was 3rd and long, so we called it, and the kids made it happen.
And again, you never know. You hope you don't have to use him, but it's always good to get him real reps just in case.
Oh, there's no doubt.
So, anyways, there you go. Jags win 44-7. I think the only two things you probably walked away from was the fumble on the missed extra point. Otherwise, you felt pretty good, and the penalties. I mean, that was very uncharacteristic for Jaguar football. 9 penalties.
Yeah, we had a handful. But really proud of the kids. Like I said, they didn't let their emotions get a hold of them, and even when provoked, they didn't. And really proud of that. But it was a good night. I thought our coaches did a good job of kind of keeping their composure. I kind of lost a little bit early on, but I had a right to. And anytime that's going to – if I think they're affecting our kids and they're putting our kids in either harm's way by not calling personal fouls after the play, or if I think they're doing a disservice. And one of the touchdown that came off the board, we scored early. You see it clearly. It was about 30 seconds later that then the ref, as he's thinking about it, the Chelsea coaches are in his ear, and he kind of just pulls the flag out and drops it. I mean, you can't do that. And I've talked to the association. They apologized, and I get it. But in the moment, our kids, they just stood there and stood strong and kept swinging. So, I was really proud of them.
Why is this game gotten so chippy every year between Chelsea and Spain Park? Just because they're so close, such a rivalry,
yeah,
and they both, and we're seeing it in baseball, we're seeing it in basketball. I mean, it's just kind of they've just kind of developed as that new Oak Mountain force. I
think so. I mean, because they got a good program. Coach Cassidy does a great job, and they were 5-1 going into the game. So, they've got a good team. So I think the bigger the games, the bigger I guess the results of the game matter. The bigger the game it gets. The more intense it gets and the more emotions are involved. And but they got after our butts, but I was proud of our kids for responding. We got Matt Bowden and Rusty White in the house tonight. They're going to join us to talk about the middle school games this week. But real quick before I bring them up, touch just a little bit on Monday night's games, freshman and JV, just what you I know you're out there, you saw a little bit, the importance of that. And, I mean, those were good, fun games to watch. And one of the things, too, I know that a lot of your position coaches, like Coach Book, he goes down and coaches linebackers for the JV. So, those, the coaches are still involved, but it's getting coaches an opportunity to interact with some players in a different way than they might normally get to do on a Friday night. Well, on JV, our JV staff is our varsity staff. We coach all those guys, and we're at every JV game, and we're coaching just like we would on Friday nights, not as intense, but we're involved. We're very involved. Freshman coaches, along with Coach Spencer and his staff, Coach Simmons, who's one of our receiver coaches, Coach Mosley, our running backs coach, and Coach D-Rob, one of our D-line guys, they are double duty, and they're also coaching the freshmen. So they're out there with them every day, and they're with them on the sidelines during games, and, just to kind of help the transition from ninth to varsity and having our guys around them, and because that's our future. And I wanted to make sure that our JV and freshmen had full schedules. I think our JV got 7 games. They have 7 games scheduled, but the freshmen have the max, which is 8. And I want to make sure that they get 8 games. And, that's really important. Those kids get that time together where they can, get out there and fight and go represent our community and our program. So it's really important times. Monday, our freshmen beat Homewood, and our JV beat Mountain Brook. So they played really well, and not Mountain Brook. Pelham, excuse me. I knew it was green. our JV beat Pelham. So, but it was fun to watch. In our 9th grade, they both have 2 more games. They play Briarwood next Monday, and then they play Mountain Brook after that. So, they got 2 more games, and we take them very serious.
I want to give a shout out not only to the freshman coaches for Spain Park, but also the freshman coaches for Homewood. We got their rosters, and they were significantly depleted with injury. It would have been very easy for them to cancel that game with the number of people they had, but knowing Spain Park and then also the Spain Park freshman coaches, when that score got up early, they brought in a lot of other kids and got a lot of kids reps. So not only not to beat down that team, but also to use it as an opportunity. So I thought it was handled nicely by both sets of coaches, because a lot of coaches would have canceled that game.
Oh, you're right. And Coach Chet, good friend of mine, he coached Chet Walker was one of the baseball coaches when I played at Homewood back in the day. So he was he was a younger coach starting out then, but he's a freshman coach, and he said that he made sure he made that statement to me that thank your guys for not running it up. They did a real good job of keeping it down. So. But it was fun to watch.
And it was. And that Homewood team, they fought throughout the entire game, and they gave the guys that got in there good looks and good opportunity to get better. And I thought it was well handled by both coaches. And, again, same thing with I think JV got a lot of players in too. Sure. And, in fact, I'd tell you that was one thing we commented during the game is I can't remember. I think it was number 56 came off linebacker, and Coach Bush talked to him for a good 2-3 minutes about technique, and then he went back in and stuck that very next tackle, did it exactly like he told him. So it was nice to watch the amount of coaching that goes on those nights to make these kids better and to teach them how to do it properly.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show our coaches love it. I mean, it's not a job for these guys, and they love being around our kids. They love getting to know them. They love coaching them, and I think the biggest thing is our coaches love to see them have success. And when you got grown men who, we're all made to be selfish, all of us. But when you have guys that really pour into these kids and they want to see them succeed, I mean that's the fun part about it, is surrounding the kids with guys who want to see them succeed. And that's just another example of that.
All right, Coach. Well, I'm going to bring up the middle school coaches. I'm bringing them both up here. Hand me that other headset, will you? Hello. All right. I'll just have to do it this way. I can hear you. You got it?
Yep.
All right. Thanks for both joining us tonight. First and foremost, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to call your games the other night. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to see the future. I got to ask you both, and I don't mean this as a negative. How are you guys both 3-4? I mean, either the Metro is stacked this year, or you guys had some rough games in between, because you guys look pretty solid from what we saw.
Yeah, 8th grade we was missing a few to begin with, and we faced some pretty good teams as well. And but give these guys credit; they just kept working throughout the season, and they've gotten better each and every week, and they're playing pretty well right now.
And that's probably more the case for you, Rusty. They're getting better each week, because you get them. They're pretty green. They've never played it down in middle school football. And you got a couple of weeks in August to get them ready. And so I would assume some of those games, those losses came early as this team's kind of gelled.
They did, and there were some really good teams. Obviously, Hewitt Truss was always going to be tough. Played a really tough Thompson team early on, but a lot of it was trying to get some guys healthy earlier in the year and trying to get some guys into some new positions that they haven't played. They were really raw. But I think they've improved throughout the year and have been a little stronger in the second half.
How much has the youth program helped you guys? I know it's gotten a little bit more consistent over the years, and we called a 6th grade game last year with Hollis Bennett, and some of those same names keep coming up. So you're seeing some of these guys now come to you with a little bit more experience playing together. How much has that helped when they get to you?
Well, and here lately, I think a lot of the youth coaches have been in touch with us and trying to get everything from Coach V all the way down to that youth league, trying to get the terminology, trying to get the things that we do, the things that we might water down a little bit. But I think just the communication with them has helped. So those guys, when they get to us in 7th grade, they're a little bit more familiar with what we want to do, and it's really improved our program.
Man, I noticed more from the, even my days calling youth football, you see a lot more passing at the younger ages this year. I talked to a parent and a child, and they both told me they feel like a lot of it has to do with 7-on-7. And the success is 7-on-7 what's contributing to that?
That's definitely helped throughout the years. Recently we've just done more and more of it, and we've progressed in passing. It helps when you got good players like we've got that can do those things. When I first started, it wasn't much at all, 25 years ago, and it's certainly progressed, and we've done more this year than I believe I ever have. So it's been great.
And real quick, on a personal note, how are your two football players doing? I know they were a big part of Spain Park Athletics and played football and baseball and different things. I know one of them you said is about to graduate with a nursing degree, and what's the other one doing?
He's at UAB in business. So
Okay.
he's a junior at UAB, and the other one's about to graduate with his nursing from Jeff State, and he'll go to UAB as well.
Are any of them going to do any coaching on the side after they get out?
I don't think so. One might, but I think they're pretty set on what they're doing right now.
So talk about this week, and we'll get to some. I got some highlights. We'll go through in a minute or two here. But you got the Metro, and I don't even know if playoffs is the right word, but I guess it is. So you're in a 3-seed game. You're in a 4-seed game. Do I have that right?
That is correct, yes.
So in the way that works is the North and the South, and they each whatever seed matches up, and you're playing for that place, right?
Yes, there's six teams in each division, and we ended up third, and they were fourth, and so we'll play Mountain Brook, and then seventh grade matched up as well with Mountain Brook, so we'll play both on Wednesday night, starting at 5 and 6:45.
Oh, you're both playing at Wednesday night now?
Since it's the same school, we'll play both on Wednesday.
Okay, so I got to change that schedule. So both games, so 5 o'clock and then 6:45
Right,
directly
that's
after,
correct.
both on Wednesday night at Spain
Spain
Park.
Park.
How does that work that you guys always get to host?
It flops each year. So last year it was at the North team, and the
Okay.
South team got to host the Jamboree. So this year we were away for the Jamboree, and we got to host the seed game.
Rush, I see you got some notes there. Are those for the highlights, or you
Oh,
you
yeah,
got anything that you want to touch on before we get there?
No, just I guess going into this game with Mountain Brook, we played them in the Jamboree, and two both evenly matched teams, and looking forward to getting a second chance at them and seeing how much we've improved.
All right, so we got some highlights here. Hopefully you can see them on the screen here. Coach V usually has to look at mine, but we start off here with this is a great call right here. In fact, we talked about it. You got, they had driven a little bit on you. You get the ball back. You drove down. I think this is your fourth down play right here.
Yeah, it's fourth down here, and to be honest with you, when I saw it as we lined up, I didn't really like it. I didn't want to call a timeout, and luckily they brought some pressure off that edge, and just a little rocket screen to the F-back, Taylor Sutherland, and great job with DeJounte and Wyatt getting out in front, and he's a really tough runner. So once he gets downhill, he's tough to bring down. Big fourth down pickup.
Was impressed too. Hollis Bennett, who typically in the past has run, did a nice job, good footwork, handed the ball off nicely, but he could throw it when you need him to.
Yeah, he's done a lot better job throughout the year of getting a little more consistent, especially on the run. We try to get him outside the pocket a little bit so he can get a little bit of a view of what's going on, but he's done a great job of just distributing it when we need to.
Again, here just a jet sweep on quarterback keeper right there into the corner of the end zone.
He's sneaky tough. I know Coach Kakis always talks about being a heavyweight. I think he's a heavyweight kind of in a lightweight body, but when he runs it really tough, and he finishes his runs.
Tell you, this is one of the things that impressed me the most during the game. This play right here is going to be a pass out into the flats a little bit, and just the form of the technique and the tackle here.
Yeah, that was
maybe
great.
a little
tackle.
high, but
Yeah,
he did a nice job
Jackson
wrapping him
Earl,
up.
yeah, that's a great solo tackle out in space. I think defensively altogether throughout the whole game did a great job tackling. That's one thing we've kind of emphasized the last few weeks, and I think they did a great job.
Yeah, it's tough though. It shows it's a testament to what you guys have done as coaches to get them in that form of tackling at that young age.
Yeah. This is just a little power play with Quadir Peoples. He's one of those that I was kind of referring to earlier. This is his first year being a running back, and so early in the year he was kind of slow to go, but he's really picked it up, and he runs the ball hard. And as you see on that play, he broke a few tackles and ended up scoring.
Yeah, he ran out of camera range, and we nicknamed him Quadir, Man of the Peoples.
Yeah,
So
he's tough.
nickname was born. So. Yeah, and again, he was nice, and I think he has the big run coming up here in a minute at the end of the half.
No, actually, that's Tyson Beckham.
Okay.
He's another guy that's kind of really raw at the position, and big guy. Once he gets his feet going downhill, he's tough to bring down, and but you can see there, again, breaking tackles, keeping his legs driving, and our photographer, Logan Green, got some good still shots of him heading towards the end zone with a big smile on his face, probably about the 10-yard line. He was really excited about that run.
Now, this is going to be a stupid question because I know as a coach you're always trying to score, but would you bring him in at that play? Are you thinking that's a chance to score with him there? Because, I mean,
well,
49 seconds left in the half.
In middle school, you've got those big guys that they have a little size advantage, and if they can get going downhill, gives you a better shot. Definitely something we think about specifically on this play.
Okay, got another play here.
Yeah, just a little GT counter. Again, Taylor Sutherland, great job with that left guard, left tackle pulling out front, kind of leading the way for him.
You know, I think Taylor kind of tackled himself there by running into the defender.
Yeah.
It's
another one that's never been a running back before. He's typically our F back and more of a blocking guy, but he loves carrying it as well.
Yeah, I think you got another. Just a nice little play, little counter there.
That's Reese Aldred. Just a little kind of a gimmicky action in the backfield there, but it was just a counter play.
Thought it was interesting they were calling timeouts on you here at the end. They could give you another chance, but again, another good run from somebody who hadn't probably seen a lot of action.
that was Harrison Smith. He's one of those guys that hadn't had a lot of carries this year, but in practice he works his tail off. He doesn't complain. He just gets out there and works, and good to see him with a big run there.
Yeah, I mean, he was quick. He was small, but he was quick.
Yeah,
he was shifty
he ran
through there,
really hard. Yep.
And who knows what his body's going to be 2 years from now, right?
Yeah,
so
I mean that's the way it is with a lot of them.
So.
You never know, and like I said, a lot of these guys are just they've got the work ethic, they've got the football knowledge. It's just a little bit about growing and becoming stronger. And I know, next year Coach Bowden's going to get them in that weight room, and when they get with Coach Vakakis, they're going to get big and strong, and they're going to do great things, I believe.
For a number of years, it felt like, with all the different things going around with football and youth football, numbers had gone down. I know they're not back to where they were in their heyday, but it feels like you got a little bit more depth this year than you've had in the past. There's numbers starting to come back a little bit more.
Yeah, just a little bit. When I first started, we were up, probably 60 to 70, even, maybe even over 70 per grade level, which was incredible. But it's kind of dropped down recently into the 40s and 50s, and but definitely some good talented kids. You'd love to have more out there, but if you get that good base group that can be successful, then hopefully that'll help.
And you guys walk off victorious. The other thing I want to compliment you on that I thought was nice, saw a bunch of seventh graders sticking around with their pads to watch the eighth grade game, and I thought it was nice to see those kids hanging out to watch their the next grade up.
Yeah, and it's just going to be just a few years. They're going to be on the field together with each other, and I know there's some parents here that it probably seems just like a year or two ago they were with us, and now they're about to graduate. So it doesn't take long.
Yeah, Matt, you hear some of your highlights. You're probably scratching your head coming out right after their touchdown. You get a personal foul, so you got to start on your own 15-yard line. But a nice play to get you some space to get going right out of the gate.
Right here, Parker Van Zant stretches it outside. He's one of the ones that was hurt at the beginning of the year, and he's just opened things up so much more as well. That he's came back and the run game, and that's helped open up the passing game as well.
Yeah, you end up giving the ball back to Oak Mountain. They drive down, but you have a nice stand here, and it really started. I thought on this sack here, not really sack, but tackle for loss, was really the momentum changer in the game there.
Yeah.
That's where you guys started. It seemed like you woke up there.
Yes, absolutely. That guy's right up over there, Luke Kilpatrick. He's done a great job. We worked on him. He likes to run past the play a few times a year, and we finally got him settled down and finding the ball and breaking down, and he made a great tackle right there.
Again, nice little pass, a little misdirection here. And again, I still don't know that I see many high schoolers, much less eighth graders, make that throw and catch.
No, I hadn't seen a lot of that either, George. And Ben did a great job right there, and Ty coming across the field and seeing the ball, getting his feet in, and did a great job.
I think we are going to have a controversy in a couple years, V. Who's better, Ty or Barrett? You don't care, whichever way, as long as they catch it, right? I tell you what, they look alike, they act alike, and they catch alike, so nobody's going to complain here. Again, another nice play here, dropping back to pass and getting them out into the flats and using your athletes just to get in space, and nice job not going down there.
Breaks that tackle and gets a first down. leg drive, keeps running.
So I think you do need to. I'm not sure. Is this the one where he lost it at the goal line and they said he was in?
I think Parker had that one.
Yeah.
Was that a GT? The little counter right
Yeah, it's
there.
just a little.
Line did a good job
power
wrapping
coming
around. I got there's two guys over there, Hunter Hyde's over there, and Cannon with a good gap down block. Did a great job. And, again, just good effort right here by Ty, finding the end zone.
Yeah, that was all effort getting into the end zone there, which is nice. Great play here defensively. I'm not sure it was the right call, but, I mean, it went your way. But it was a good heads-up play to keep going until you hear the whistle.
Absolutely. We teach them to go to the whistle. I think we call a little break right here, but we'll take it. And it's a great play by Dawson Lee right there, keeping on going until he hears the whistle. And
I have
gets
no
us in
offense
good
to
field
Dawson
position.
Lee, but he's a smaller guy, but he doesn't play like a smaller guy.
No, he don't. He works his butt off and is physical and does a great job.
And he's not afraid to hit you.
No, he's not.
No, he plays about 2 feet bigger than he is physically, and I mean, if he gets that body to catch up to his attitude, he's going to be a beast. But and you know what? I think he sold the officials on that call by the way he went for the ball.
I think you're right.
So again, and I'm going to take some credit because I called this play. I called going for the corner right out of the gate because I thought it was a great play call here because you got a guy. They're probably not thinking you're going to go there because that's a tough long throw, and it's either going to be an incomplete pass or a home run, and you kind of got the home run here.
Right. Rusty got him in single coverage over there and ran that corner and then just put the ball in the right place and went up and made a play. Puts us first and goal to extend the lead.
And again, just a nice hard power run there. Fights through a little bit of a tackle in the backfield and
Gets low, gets that extra yard, gets across the goal line.
go for 2 and get it. So big fourth down play here. You guys stopped him inside 4 straight plays inside the 10-yard line.
And Zion Evans, he's a first-year player as well, and is just physical, wants to get better, and he put a pop on that guy. He put several pops on him throughout the night and stopped him there at the 1-yard line.
So you stop him down on 4th down and you pick it up. Now, we were kind of joking around, you're in 2 minute now, but most people don't. Do you have practice 2 minute from the 2-yard line?
No, we hadn't done that this year, but we work on being quick-witted, and you don't know in middle school what, like he breaks one out here this next play and gets us in
Well, that's what
position
one of the
where
things
we can open it up.
One of the things we talked about, and that's the risk. You see it happen a lot of times on a 4th down or even here. Your defense is going so hard to try to stop it or get the safety possibly that they over pursue a little bit. And it was just a great play call, and I thought he did a nice job reading it, getting outside here.
He did. Again, we had one slip through the gap, but Parker got out and gets up the sideline. Wants to get 35 yards.
And now you're thinking we're in business when we get it to 30 right out of the gate, right? Where you're thinking to score 7 points here.
Yes, sir. We've got those guys. We've got. I think we could do it, and we did.
Nice job escaping the pressure there too.
Steps up in the pocket, sees Parker Van Zant right there, and great throw and catch.
Again, another great throw there on a timing route to the sideline. Gets out of bounds, stops the clock with 50 seconds left. Probably got a little bit more closer than you thought it was at this point, though, because I think what you scored with 11 seconds left took you a few more plays to get in, but you had a couple timeouts, so you were able to do it.
Yep,
and then Parker Van Zant just goes in untouched.
Finishes the drive with 8 seconds and a half. What a way to finish it could have.
So, again, and I believe this is Sensabaugh.
Lofton Sensabaugh. He's a big old sucker. He plays defensive end and some running back, H-back for us, and has done a great job this year.
Gives you, again, defense picks up the handoff there on the fake, and then a nice little pass out there to Parker Van Zant again, I believe.
Yep, they started keying on Lofton. We was just trying to run the ball through that quarter, and Rusty slipped Parker out and made a big gain. I think this is the one he fumbled, but he got right back on it. I think he fumbled this one too, didn't he, Rusty?
Maybe 2 or 3 there in a row.
Yeah.
They're going to have to get him some more gloves or something. Does he have them? He's got them off now, so I think he can
Again,
score
I
this
think he
time.
finished off the game here with touchdown. Sensabaugh takes it in. Touchdown. And
Good job by the line right there and finish off the drive.
So it's every victory is important, but you really guys seem to be both playing on all cylinders. How big of a deal is that for you guys as you head into the Metro playoff this week?
It's great. We talked to them at the beginning of the year. We just want to get better throughout the year. Work hard, get better, and they've committed to that and had a great attitude. First of all, great group of boys. But they've worked hard and gotten better from being physical to knowing what they're supposed to be doing, from their technique and just giving great effort, and they've gotten better.
Anything you guys want to add before we wrap it up? Bring Coach back up.
I just appreciate you recognizing the middle school. This is going to be our future. I help out on Friday nights. I love seeing when these guys get older and develop, and it's special seeing them come through the program. So I appreciate you recognizing them and doing what all you do for us.
Oh, no problem. We enjoyed it. It was fun to call.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the players being here. Appreciate the parents being here. Go Jackson.
My players, let's hear it for your coaches. Test.
Test.
All right. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Anybody, if any players want to come up and ask Coach a question, just kind of raise your hand, come up, I'll give you the mic. You can ask Coach a question. But, Coach, talk a little bit about one of your goals when you came here was getting a total program, one program between, and it really feels like we've achieved. Now, we're never going to fully achieve that goal because you can always do better, but it feels like we're a lot farther along than we were before you got here about Barry and Spain Park kind of melding as one.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show when you got good people like Coach Bowden and Coach White at Barry, you got Ben Harrelson and Sean Jordan, Little Leagues, and Chris Carter. You got guys down there that want to see it all together. It's not a hard sell. It's just, getting everybody together and, pulling the rope the same way. And, I tell people all the time we have good kids because they come from good families. And, so it's not hard to do. It just takes some effort and being intentional and giving opportunities to grow together. And, we're always here for the Little League. They can use whatever they need to use in our facilities and middle school as well. So I think the biggest thing is just about relationships. It'd be nice to run the same offense and defense and have the same terms, but, a lot of times, a fifth grade team isn't going to be doing the same things a high school team's doing. So it's not about that. It's about just the relationships and trying to build it and getting pride where these kids, they want to play for Spain Park and they wouldn't even contemplate leaving just because hopefully how they're treated, and it's definitely getting there. Obviously, like you said, it's never an end goal. I mean, it's never an ultimatum like we've arrived. It's a work in progress. You've got to keep being intentional. You got to keep building relationships and, fostering those relationships. But we're blessed to have Coach White and Coach Bowden at Barry Middle School. That's, they're sending us kids every year that care about football.
Loaded question here for you. If you don't want to answer, I totally get it. But as a father of someone that played special teams, should AHSAA look at bringing special teams back to middle school football to try to get more kids involved?
I don't know. I think it's I don't think it's an AHSA thing. My son Sammy plays in Helena, and he's on the kickoff team.
Okay.
So they do kickoff. I don't think they do punt, but they do kickoffs, and I think if they score, you can kick an extra point. So, it's out there. It's just it takes a lot of time. I'd like to see it. But I'm sure that's a bigger conversation than just me sitting behind a table at Jeffersons on Sunday night saying I'd like to see it because there's a lot of moving parts there. But, I'd like it. I think it would help. It would give the soccer kids a reason to come out and kick, because we've picked up a few kickers within the last year that came from the soccer team. So I think it would allow other kids to get involved. But I don't know. Again, like I said, that's not a question I can answer or anything I can do about it.
You play Calera this week. Calera has struggled to get some victories this year, but they're a dangerous team. They bring a lot of speed to the field, and they always do. You're going to have to play your game. What are some points of emphasis and practice this week as you prepare? Well,
limit the big play because they're talented. They have a lot of really fast kids on skilled kids on offense, and you got to limit the big play. You got to keep them in front of you, and make them work themselves down the field. And just do what we do. We talk all the time about having a faceless opponent. Like it doesn't matter who we play, where we play them, what their record is, what our record is. There's a standard of how we're going to act. There's a standard of how we're going to play and how we're going to prepare. And it's our jobs as coaches to get the kids in position. But we're not going to change anything. We're not going to stress this or stress that. We're going to be who we are.
I wanted to mention something else that I saw on Alec Etheridge, I believe, posted the other night, and I think we don't talk about him enough, is your training staff. And you talk about Nick McKissick coming back and the job they do, and I saw you gave Sarah Lynch the game ball for a couple of reasons. One, for what she does, too, for the passing of her father, which I thought was a touching moment. But talk a little bit about the training staff and how integral they are to helping keep you guys. I know the weight program is a big part of it, but they're just as big a part of it.
Oh, they've got a Google document, a Google sheet they update every week. So anytime a coach has a question about a kid or a status of the kid or what can he do in the weight room, whatever, and we just go to that link and we look, and they're very detailed. They take care of these kids, and if a kid's not supposed to be doing something, we make sure he's not. He doesn't. And if a kid needs a little extra motivation, we check, and if the trainers hadn't said you can't do this, they're going to be doing it. So the trainers, they do such a good job of keeping our kids healthy, keeping them safe, and our kids love them. I mean, if they could hang out in that training room 3 hours a day with Sarah and Nate and Tabitha, they would. I'll hear her screaming sometimes, if you're not getting treatment, get out. But they just want to hang out with them. They love them. But they're good people. I think, kids are smart. Kids can tell if you care. And our kids know they care, so it just draws them into them. But we're blessed to have them, and they do such a good job of keeping our kids healthy.
Yeah, you got Nate, Tabitha. Tabitha came with you from JO, right?
She did.
Yeah, so she's been with you even longer.
And she was an MVP at JO. Like, poor thing she'd be going across the street, taking the softball team or whoever's practicing at that little park, making sure they had coolers. She'd come back in the gym, whoever's in the gym, making sure they got coolers and water bottles. Then she'd come up on the practice field with us. I mean, she was just doing so much. But she's special, and I'm glad when I got here there was an opening, and I'm glad she took it. I'm glad she's here.
Yeah, and on top of that, not only does she love football, but she loves wrestling. So I know she's huge wrestling, so she takes wrestling, and she's the athletic trainer for wrestling. Yes. Which frees up Sarah and Nate to do basketball during that season, and it's been a nice little balance.
Because a lot of trainers, they're kind of shy away from wrestling because there's so many injuries.
Yep.
You get cut, you get a bruise, your nose is bleeding, you're this, but Tabitha loves it. I think she was, in college, or she did an internship or something around a college wrestling team, and she fell in love with it. So she's always said wrestlers are different. So that's why she likes it.
So Calera, bring back up Calera. So they're a very balanced team. They average about 191 yards on the ground, 181 through the air. They got two good seniors in Jordan Henderson on the ground, Caden Sparks through the air as a receiver. So how do you prepare to face somebody you don't know what you're going to get? Yeah,
no, you don't. I mean, they've done a bunch of different looks on offense and defense, and we just got to be prepared and kind of do what we do. And like we do every week, we don't change who we are every week. We tweak it, and we add a little of this, add a little of that. But we don't, you're not going to reinvent the wheel every week. Like I said, that's why we got to be who we are and play really hard on defense. And Coach Bush and those guys are going to do a good job of getting our kids ready.
Injury bug, how are we looking? How's the health-wise? I know you got Nick McKissick back. Is JD?
JD's close.
He's close?
At some point this week, he goes to the doctor tomorrow, and at some point this week, he is looking to get cleared for contact. So we'll see where that goes. But it was exciting to get Nick back. I think Peyton Wood's going to try to come back this week. So Zion McClain's ankle's better. Carter Holloway, I think he's going to get ready to go. So, hopefully we'll be able to pick up some steam, get some guys healthy, and keep getting better every week as we get in the playoffs.
So you haven't played your best football yet, and part of that has been just because you haven't played your best football. Some of it's been because you're somewhat injury depleted. What's it going to take for the Jags to play their best football the rest of the way out of the year?
Just keep doing what we do. I mean, don't try to reinvent the wheel. You don't, just because it's a bigger game or a first-round game or a game at Calera or that doesn't matter. Just do what you do, and our kids work. And we're going to get back in the weight room again, and our kids take pride in it. So there's no magic potion. I mean, we get right back at it, and our coaches are going to do a good job of preparing the kids, and they care. And anytime you have guys who care, that pour into the kids see that. The kids respond to real things and real relationships. So I'm excited, and I think the kids are excited. They see themselves getting better, and that was one thing Friday night. Nobody panicked, even when they picked up the fumble and ran it back. None of our kids panicked. There was a couple of them kind of laughing on the sidelines, staying real light. And even when the craziness happened that first drive and all the penalties, and nobody panicked. And that's just a testament to these kids that I think just being consistent and doing the same thing over and over allows you to be able to handle those ups and downs. So we're not going to do anything different. We're going to get back at it and rinse and repeat.
You go back to that BR game a couple weeks ago, we talked, there's a couple of plays here or there that really would have changed the outcome of that game, just like you can go back on any loss. But since then, it seems like this team has really put a little bit even more elevated that sense of urgency to close out the game earlier, to finish the plays earlier. Is that a positive that came out of that loss?
It is. I mean, I don't think there's not a lot of plays we're not making. Like we don't get to go out, we don't watch the film afterwards and say we should have made, these 5 plays. And I think those plays are getting made, whether it being a defensive play where we get a sack, where we got to get him down and we don't let him scramble, or a touchdown pass that you're open, that Brock hits them and they catch it. So, that's at this point in the season, you need to be clicking, and we got to keep doing what we're doing and hopefully click at the right time and get better every week.
So you're on the road this week, and then you finish up with 2 home games, home against Chilton County, and then Gardendale, which is a non-region game, right, to finish the season. So, and then hopefully a home playoff game. And basically, if you win this Friday night, you lock up a home playoff game.
Correct.
So,
and then hopefully we can get it done.
So, all right, Coach. Well, anybody got any questions for the coach? If not, we'll wrap it up here. JAG Connection, Sunday night. Do I see the kids? Nobody. They're all eating. Nobody wants to step up? No question? Anyone? They're all shaking their heads no. Nobody wants to be the guy? Nobody? So.
Hold on. I want to ask Benton Tate. Come here, Benton. So this 8th grade quarterback, Benton Tate. All right, Benton.
It's a good sit down.
It's 3rd and 3. When y'all play, who y'all playing? Mount Brook. It's 3rd and 3.
Hold the microphone up to you.
3rd and 3. Left hash. Ball's on the 10. You got to have a touchdown. What's the play? Lightning.
Because they're going to play cover 4.
So you're looking to throw what?
The hitch.
The hitch, or
Or the corner.
you're going to throw the corner if what happens?
If the corner just bites down on the hitch.
When
Don't
is
hit the pylon.
He's ready to go.
There you go.
All right, Coach Bowden, you heard him. Coach White, you heard him, right? If 3rd and 10, you got to score. Let him call lightning.
8th grade, right?
Yes, sir.
So, real quick, so you get that big run by Parker Van Zant from the 2. Are you telling him let's throw it when you get down there for the next play?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. I'm pumped. After that,
And
pull
then
out the playbook.
and then what are you looking at when you throw that? Yeah, pull out the play. And then what are you looking at when you throw that little route to the sideline there? Was that your first option when you hit him at about the 15-yard line to go out of bounds with about 18 seconds left?
First option is we have Lofton in the flat, and then he's covered up because their linebacker got the flat. Just throw a 2-ball over to the sideline.
All right. So then after this week, your season's over regardless, since there's no playoff. What do you do next?
Go to work.
Now, do you play basketball? Do you play baseball? Do you play any other sports?
I play basketball and baseball, but I'm focused on football.
Okay. So you're going to be a freshman QB next year? Push for it?
Yes, sir.
All right. We look forward to calling you. We will be calling one of your games next, but great game the other night, young man.
I'll say this, Benton. You had your one chance to say quarterback draw.
He's been around Brock
And you
Bradley
didn't.
too much. He ain't running nothing. He's slinging it.
So,
He wants to throw the thing around.
hey, so usually we put Coach on the spot, but he put you on the spot tonight, Benton. Good job. So, anyways, Pop, you got anything for us before we wrap up?
Oh, boy.
No, he doesn't want to talk tonight. So, anyways, I will tell you what, we will be bringing. Hey, take this to him, will you? Take that to him.
See, take the batteries out of that mic.
I'll say I learned. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I learned last night how to call timeout. It's either this or this. It don't matter.
So you've been working on the timeout call? Oh, he's digging.
That's a dig at Kirby Smart. I know
That's
what
a dig
that
at
is.
Kirby Smart. There
I
you
told
go.
you, don't give him the mic. I told you that. I warned you.
Don't give him the mic. That's always good. I was going to try to refrain from that, so I still haven't seen it. Sean was making me watch the LSU Florida game, so or not LSU Texas A&M Florida game. So, anyways, but shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the families that watch us, the youth play this week, and everybody that joined our coverage. And want to thank everybody for coming out to Jeffersons tonight. Everybody, get your tickets Friday night. It's a big game at Clear. It's not that far. And it's a great parking lot. You're right there. You basically park in the stadium, so it's easy to get in. And so get out there, watch the Jags as they go for a home playoff clinching win.
That's it.
All right, go Jags. Thanks, everybody.
Go Jags.